Salve amici and welcome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Noddy7 and I am the General of the Albatross Legion over at Twitch. I'm a Kiwi strategy game streamer and a part-time YouTuber who likes to do tutorial and strategy videos. Welcome to my new beginners tutorial series for Europa Universalis 4. My plan for this series is to design it for new players to the game. I get a lot of people who watch my streams who don't play EU4 or any Paradox game, and they can find it quite daunting watching my streams and seeing the overload of information and tooltips in the game. So I wanted to make an easy to digest basic tutorial that isn't 40 videos long. I won't be focusing on min-maxing and meta strategies in these tutorial videos. They're purely designed to teach the basics of the game and give someone who has never played the game before a very basic understanding of how to play the game so they can start it up and play a game. My plan for this series is 1 to 2 videos doing the basics of the game, showing you the most important menus and interfaces that you need to pay attention to, but not going in depth with everything on the screen. We're going to play a little bit as the Ottomans, fight a war or two, look at managing the country, actually fighting the wars, and then the aftermath of the wars with coring and overextension and aggressive expansion, as well as looking at the actual combat, things like generals, morale, army composition. After that, I plan on doing several follow-up videos where I'll focus on specific topics, things like trade, coalitions, absolutism, anything you can think of. As well as those follow-up videos, I want to do country-specific beginner guides. So I might, for example, do a video on France. How can you best start as France? How can you set yourself up at the start of the game for the best chance of success as France? We could do something like Aztec, and I can do a guide on how to reform as quickly as possible. So you can reform your religion, get all 5 reforms passed before the Europeans even arrive. This is where you, the viewers, come in, because I want your feedback. What countries do you want to see given a video? What topics within the game do you want me to try and explain? What do you think deserves a video? Throw your suggestions in the comments or hit me up on Twitter or Twitch when I'm streaming with any suggestions. Just a reminder, I'm running on version 1.3, whatever the latest patch is, with all DLC on. My basic principle here is that someone who has never touched the game before could start up EU4 and know what to do on a basic level. I am by no means a pro at this game. There are a lot of people out there who know a lot more about the game than me and are much better players than I am. There's plenty of streamers out there, plenty of YouTubers out there that are a lot better. They have a much better understanding of the game mechanics. But these are the kind of games you learn, where you learn, even after thousands of hours. I've got thousands of hours in this game. I still go into streams and I still learn stuff when I'm in there. Before we jump into it, remember, if you like the series, like, subscribe, head over to my Twitch and throw me a follow so you can see when I'm live. Enjoy the video, guys. Let's get into it. What exactly is EU4? EU4 is a real-time, pausable, grand strategy game set from 1444 to 1821. It's got historical nations, historical characters, historical monarchs, and historical events that occur during the game. But essentially, once you unpause the game, it's no longer historical, because anything can happen. Things might happen historically as they did, but things also happen very differently to what they did in real life, and that's one of the cool things about the game. And that's one of the reasons why I really like the game. You know, this time period actually isn't one of my favorite periods of history. I'm much more of a classics person, but I really love this game, and I really enjoy playing it and sharing tips and things with other people. So what are we going to look at first? Well, the most obvious thing to look at is going to be the interface and talk a little bit about tooltips. So there's heaps of information available with the interface in EU4. We're just going to try and narrow it down to focus on just a few specific things. So the first one is across the top bar here, which is some pretty important stuff. Income, it's currently a green plus. That means we're making money. That's good. We want to make money. Manpower is important. Manpower is your troops. So to train more troops, they cost manpower. If you lose troops in battle, you have to replace them with more manpower. So if you run out of manpower, your troops will stop replenishing, and you can't train new troops. So you don't want to run out, although it does happen. And you can supplement your manpower with mercenaries, but that's another topic. The rest of these, still important, but we'll worry about them later. The other really important one up the top here is this one here, which is your Monarch points. So Monarch points are the basis for everything in EU4. You use Monarch points for almost everything in the game. Okay? So your Monarch points come from... your Monarch, and their skill. So we currently have a 646, one of the best starting Monarchs in the game. The most you can get in these is 6, the lowest is 0. So you can have a 000, you can have a 666. It's completely random. Then, so you get a base of 3 plus your Monarch skill, and then we've got a -1 to administrative power because we've got our national focus set to military, which you can see the little tick here. We can change this if we want. We can focus on 1 or we can focus on nothing. So because we're focusing on it, we get +2 and we get -1 to each of these. The other thing that can increase this is advisors, which we can afford, but we'll talk about them in 2 seconds. So Monarch point is the next, major thing there. This part here, this shows your current alerts. So red is kind of like you need to address this. Green is, hey, there's something you should know, but it's not massively important. And there's also yellow, which is somewhere in between the two. So the game's currently telling us we don't have enough rivals. It's also telling us we've got free advisor slots, we've got truces coming up, and we've got a few decisions we can pass. We'll worry about the decisions later. The truces aren't a big deal. You can dismiss it altogether as well. The advisors, we can grab some advisors here, so you get 1 advisor from each. They have a minor impact, and they give you mana points. So this guy gives us more manpower. So national manpower 10%. Let's grab him. We can get a diplomatic one and an administrative one. So now we're getting an extra +1 to each of these, and you see the alert goes away. So the other key thing, talking about the alerts, is tooltips. Everything in this game is explained in tooltips. Everything in this game. So you could see, if we go up here and look at our stability. Where's our stability? There's our stability. If we leave the mouse there, oh, that's not going to tell me. Ha! Alright, so stability. Each level of stability gives us the following. So each level of positive stability gives us less national unrest, more tax, more stability cost modifier, more missionary strength, more corruption reduction, and more institution spread. And negative unrest gives us national unrest, interest, legitimacy, and caravan power, which is to do with trade. So you can see everything tells you if you go over something. So prestige, currently we're at 8.92. We're losing 0.48 a year. The reasons why we're losing, gaining, and then all the effects from prestige are listed there. So there's tooltips for everything in this game. If we go to try and ally someone, let's try and ally Poland. It's going to tell us here, they don't want to ally me because they're neutral, we're not in the same religious group, they don't trust us, and they don't like us. Okay? But if we tried to ally Crimea, look at that, they're going to ally us, and the reasons are listed there. So they like us, we've got a strong army, we've got good diplo rep, we've got a strong navy, and we're the same religious school. So the game will tell you all of the information. It presents all of the information in extended tooltips there. It's all there. You can go into any part of the game. Clicking on provinces, we can see unrest. Okay, we don't have any unrest here because of why? Well, we've got bad religious unity, but we've got good legitimacy and good tolerance. I'm trying to see if we've got... Okay, so over here you can see the religion's orthodox. So that's going to be affecting... Well, I've got good local unrest though, but so you can see, everything's explained. Local autonomy. The current autonomy is 8.5, so that's what it does. It reduces our trade power, our production efficiency, all of those things. But it's also going down at 0.125 a month. So everything is explained within the game in tooltips, and it seems like a lot of information, I know. And it can get overwhelming, but there's always a reason for things happening. You can always look into why things happen. I was going to do the rest of these alerts. So too few rivals. So you can see our rivals here. So we currently don't have any. So we need to rival some people. The game's telling us who's rivaling us. So Austria hates us, so we hate Austria. The Mamluks hate us, so we hate the Mamluks. And we may as well do... We'll do Hungary. Okay, so now that alert's gone. And the other thing to do with alerts and tooltips and things is the ledger. So the ledger's down here. And you can get all sorts of information from the ledger, including information about countries' incomes, just everything, score, technologies, religions, states and territories. There's a wealth of information here. Probably the most used one is the military and the armies tab. So you can see it lists total forces, it lists force limit, manpower. So we can quickly go in and say, right, if we're going to fight Byzantium, we can see that we clearly are much stronger than them. And the other one that's very useful to use is quality comparison, because it tells us our morale and our discipline compared to whoever we're looking at fighting. So the ledger's down here, and it's full of really useful information to look at. So the next thing we're going to look at quickly is menus, map modes, and the outliner. So map modes are down here. These are shortcuts that you can customize however you want. There's actually a whole bunch of different map modes that you can change to. Usually I play on the political map mode because it shows the countries really clearly. And I find that personally the terrain map mode doesn't do much for me when I'm trying to see where things are. But that's just personal preference. But you can see fort map mode, coalition map mode, religion map mode. There's plenty of different map modes available. The outliner, that's this little box here. So we can get really basic information presented to us very clearly just in this outliner here. So currently we've got our diplomats, our merchants, our armies, our navies, and our estates. You can also customize this. So we can add a whole bunch of stuff to it and take stuff away. So if I don't want to know about my diplomats, I can take them away. That's simple. And then the menus. So the majority of menus can be found under here. You can see them all across the top here. So court, government, diplomacy, economy, trade, technology, ideas, missions, stability and expansion. Decisions, stability, religion, military, subjects, which we don't have access to, and estates. So I know I rushed through that. I'm not going to go through all of them in depth because there's too much there to worry about. All we really want to focus on for the moment is diplomacy, which shows our country, and then we can talk to other countries. So you can see there's a whole bunch of diplomatic options available in here. All right, whole bunch of diplomatic options. We can improve relation with them. We can declare war on them, not until the 11th of December though. Gives everyone a month period grace. We can build a spy network. We can insult them. We can marry them. And if it tells you, for example, Hungary, we can't marry. Why can't we marry them? Because the Catholic faith does not allow royal marriages with other religious groups. It tells us straight away. So all this information is presented reasonably clear and concise usually. It also tells us their force limit, their naval force limit, their manpower, who they've got truces with, who they've got relations with, what their techs are. So plenty of different information straight up that you can see in the Diplo screen. The economy screen. This is the next one we want to look at. And the main thing I want you to focus on when you're new to the game is that this number is bigger than this number, which means we're making money. It tells you what money you've got coming in. It tells you what money you got going out. And you can adjust some of these sliders if you need to. But the main thing is that you can see what's coming in, what's going out. Start of the game, taxation is generally your main source of income. As the game gets later and later, production and trade increase as you expand more generally. But that's basically the main thing you need to know is that your income is greater than your outcome and you're not spending too much money on your army. So you'd like to have a nice little surplus here so you're not always broke, basically. Tech, we're going to look at real quickly. basically you use mana points to tick up. I said mana points were the basis of everything in this game. They're part of technology, they're part of ideas. They're a big part of the game. So tech literally is broken into admin, dip, and military. When you get to enough points, which the base is around 500 and it's about 600 base, I believe. Yeah, base cost is 600. Impacted by other different things. So currently it's -5 for our religious school and -0.3% because of an increase over time. You just want to keep ticking up, but you don't want to overpay for them. So if it tells you it's going to cost you 1,000 to tick up, you don't really want to do it because you're paying too much. You want to pay around somewhere between 400 and 600, generally speaking. You don't want to go way over the top and take tick when you're way ahead of time. Okay? And you don't want to take tick when you're way behind on institutions, but we'll worry about institutions another time. As you tick up, you get all sorts of different things. So you get more governing capacity, you get better morale, better tactics, more trade range, more colonial range, more cultures. You can accept all these things that that you'll start to learn about as you play the game. You also get idea groups, which is the next one we want to look at real quickly. So every nation has a national idea set. This is the Ottoman national idea set. So we get extra discipline, extra tolerance of heathens, and if we fill all of these out, we get 33% force limit. Every 3 ideas we take out of one of these sets, which we'll look at in a minute, will fill one of these bars up. So we get core creation, 20% max promoted cultures, manpower recovery, cavalry combat ability, war exhaustion reduction cost, national tax, trade efficiency, and ship cost. So idea groups are split into 3. Administrative, Diplo, military. And guess what? They cost mana points. They're all focused around different things. So exploration is focused around exploring. Diplomatic is focused around getting extra diplomats and keeping people happy with you. Religious is focused around getting faster conversions and all sorts of things like that. Humanist is focused around making people generally less rebellious. So there's a whole bunch of different things there, and you get them unlocked every few tech levels. And that's idea groups. You generally want to take a nice balance, but also some idea groups are better with some factions. So for example, you wouldn't necessarily want to take exploration with the Ottomans because you're not anywhere really near the New World that's going to let you colonize the New World. Potentially, you can head down through India and start looking at colonizing down in Indonesia and Malaysia and stuff. But generally speaking, you wouldn't take exploration as the Ottomans. Not early game, anyway. Right. I only want to look at 2 more. So, estates are something that were updated really heavily in the last update. The general idea of estates is you want to balance the amount of estate-controlled land with the amount of crown-controlled land. If you go too low on crown-controlled land, you get different effects here. If you go too high on crown-controlled lands, your estates, you don't get the benefits of the estates. So currently we're getting tax, manpower, trade efficiency, and tolerance of heathens from the Dhimmi. So most people have only got 3. Some people get an extra 4th one. Tribes only get 1 estate. I think the Indian nations get different estates altogether. So everyone's a little bit different. Basically, the idea is you can grant them privileges. So there's different things you can do. Each of these tells you what they do. But the more you grant them, the potentially more crown lands you give up, and the more it affects you in the long run. So the idea is to balance them between being loyal and influential, but not giving up all your land. I'm not going to bother putting any of the privileges in yet because they don't really serve a purpose for this part of the game. But generally, what you would try and do is go right. This one here is quite nice because it because of what it does. So we're gonna enact that one. we can, pardon me, we can enact. We'll do a few different things here. So basically, all we've enacted is things that make them more loyal and more influential. So we haven't given up any crown land, which is good. We can also sell them crown land, which will reduce our crown land but gives us a lot of money, or we can seize it back. So the last tree you want to look at, the last menu, is the missions. There's more here, but this is what we want to look at now. So generally speaking, you can play Europa Universalis 4 however you want. Some people love to blob all over the map. Some people like to play tall and develop their country and build buildings and stay small core but really strong. Some people play a diplomatic game. You can play it however you want. If you want to get achievements for the game, you need to play in Iron Man, and that gives you very set. If you're going after achievements, it's a very set style of play you're going for. Usually they're quite blobby, quite expansionist, but not always. The other way that you can play the game is you can follow the mission tree. So most nations in the game now, there's still some that don't, but a lot do have specific mission trees. So it gives you suggestions on how to play the game. So you can see right here, we've got a mission called City of the World Desire. So if we own Constantinople, we get claims over a whole bunch of areas over here. We'll talk about claims in a minute. And we get defeated the Byzantine Emperor for 15 years. And then that leads into another mission, which asks us to conquer all of Greece. And then we get more bonuses and more claims. And then if we conquer Serbia, we get more bonuses and more claims. And it just continues on. Bosnia, Wallachia, Transylvania. So you can see there's missions that lead us right down to different conquesting paths, different expansion paths. The other one I want to look at is this one here. So total size of the army is 85% of our force limit. That gives us claims over pretty much all of Asia Minor. And if we consolidate Asia Minor, we get claims over all of this stuff. And then if we safeguard Anatolia, we get claims over all of this stuff. And that leads us down to the Levant, and to Trebizond, and to Mesopotamia, and to Egypt, and all the way down to Tunisia, and Algiers, and Hejaz, and Mocha, and... So you can see that these mission trees lead us in directions that we can go throughout the game. So I'm going to start playing, finally. And what we're going to do is I'm going to speed up the game to speed 3. We need to fabricate... So we wanted to clear war on Byzantium. We need to take Constantinople. That was what that mission wants us to do. It wants us to take Constantinople. To do that, we can't just declare war on them. We need a claim. So what we need to do is we need to build a spy network. We'll get about 1 point something a month. And then when we get to 20, we can claim the province. And then if we want to claim another province, we have to get to 25. We have to build back up from 0 to 25. And the next province is 30. And then the next one is... and so on and so forth. So we're going to do that. We're also going to... I'm not going to ally any of these guys because we tend to want to just fight them all. Good at allies for the Ottomans, generally speaking, because we're going to conquest our way down here. Crimea, let's improve relations with Crimea to make them like us more. And let's just go... let's go Karakianlu because they like me. So we're going to improve with them, and we're going to unpause the game. And when I get enough money, so our current force limit is 40. We need to get to 85% of that force limit, which is 34. So I need 4 more units. Alright, Kandar wants a royal marriage. We're going to say no, because I want to attack them. There in my path of conquest. So pretty much all of these small Beylik miners are people I want to kill. I should actually... oh no, I don't need to. Never mind. So we're getting a whole bunch of pop-ups. None of them are terribly interesting or important. You were friendly with me. I don't know why you changed. So we're just going to cruise until we get our claim on Constantinople, and then we're going to start the war. You can see from here, we're a lot stronger than them. And even if they ally Moldavia and Serbia, Serbia's got 8k, Moldavia's got 4k. None of these guys are particularly scary to us. But like I said, we have to wait until we get to 20 before we can claim the province. And you can see all the other nations in Europe doing their own thing. We can look at... So all of these decisions we've got that we can pass. So yearly prestige, national unrest, missionary strength versus heretics. We could potentially... We're not making much money. What we can do to make us a little bit more money is we can turn our forts off. So we've got 5 forts currently. They cost us quite a bit to keep them active. So before we declare the war, I am going to try and ally Crimea and probably Kara. Like I said, I'd prefer to leave these guys all alone because we're going to conquer them. I don't see the point in allying them. So there's a bunch of different CBs in the game. The most common by far is Conquest. You get it by fabricating and making a claim, or you can get it through missions and stuff like that. There are advanced CBs. So Religious Idea Groups has a CB that gives you a religious CB on anyone you neighbor. And there is an advanced CB called Imperialism, which you get late game. And there are some other ones as well around about that you can get. So we're going to fabricate our claim. So it gives us a claim on this province for 25 years. And you can see if we went to claim one of these, it would tell us we need to get 25. Okay everyone, that's going to do us for episode 1 of our EU4 beginners tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it helped with a basic introduction and understanding of the game. I'll be back with part 2 soon. Remember, if you have any suggestions for upcoming videos, throw them in the comments, hit me up on Twitter or Twitch. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content like it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and head over to my Twitch and give me a follow there. The links will be in the description below. The support really helps everyone. See you next time. Bye.